Daddy Show. Step off.
It's time for the main event.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this is Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. I did it. I didn't screw it up this time. I screwed it up last time. If you were here last week, you know that I screwed it up last week. I just blanked out on my own freaking intro. The same intro I've been doing for these many years. Not that many. My first original intro was pretty subdued. And my original podcasting voice was way up here. It was like this. Hi, Tom Clark with NPR. Today we're going to bake a cake. Very subdued, very laid back, very chill. Not anymore. Now I'm everywhere. I'm off the charts. I'm all over the place. Smash the like button for me, kids, before we get cranking here today. Lots to talk about, lots to go over. How's your week been? How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the show. If you've never tuned in to the main event before, I'm Tom. What's up? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. The main event has been going strong since 2014. We are in season 10 of the show. That's right, kids. It's awesome. I love doing it. I appreciate you guys being here with us. I'll remind you very quickly about Tom Clark's 6M podcast and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. All of these podcasts you can find in one place. You know where you can find them? Look at the ticker. Read it. Just read it. Just read it. BoinkStudios.com. BOINK. One word. BoinkStudios.com. Everything you need to know about myself, my podcasts, the great ladies and gentlemen that I co-host with, and I'll often appear on their podcasts as well. Links to their podcasts are on the Boink Studios website as well. So go check it out. It would mean loads to me. Doesn't put any money in my pocket, but gives me a nice, warm, soft, fuzzy feeling inside. And don't you want that? I do. So thanks everybody for tuning in as always. I very much appreciate you. If you can see the ticker ticking, you see BoinkStudios.com and that Japanese writing. That is Japanese for "Oh Captain, My Captain." Because if you're so inclined, I answer to Tom and to "Oh Captain, My Captain." So there you go. Let's see who was first at the table here today. Mean Jean is in the Boink Studios Discord. She enjoys it. How many of you kids out there right now, are in the Boink Studios Discord? Come on. Come on. Don't mess around. Because if you're not, you should be. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and drop a link. And this is for the website. The link to join us on the Boink Studios Discord server is on our website. Bam! There's the link to the website, kids. Go follow it. Bookmark here today. Join us on Boink Studios Discord. All right? Gene, good to see you. What's up, Ray, all day? Good to see you. Good afternoon, Sugar Shane. What's up, Jeff? Everybody, please smash that like button. Let's get those numbers up for me, please, and thank you. It'd mean loads to me. Thank you very much. David Down Under, how's life in Australia, my friend? Rebecca, good to talk to you again. Josh, good to see you. Chad, too bad. All because of the digitization of my headset. Is that what you're trying to imply? Chad said I remind him of the guy who used to do. Oh, you're talking about, I thought maybe my earphone was digitized out. You were comparing me to Van Gogh for a second. I went deep cut on that reference. What guy do I remind you of? Gene is complimenting me on my tree. That's right. My tree's up. My tree went up on November 1st. Same day every year. Suck it, Grinches. What can I say? I likes to make jolly. I'm a festive dude. Everybody that knows me will tell you that Tom, he's a festive dude. I'm just saying. Yes, Ray, next week we're going to hit training day. Hope you are ready. What's going on, Rob? Good to see you. What's going on, Ron? How's everybody doing out there today? Please smash the like button for me, kids. It's not a lot of work for you. And if you want to share the feed on your Facebook page, it is very much appreciated. Please and thank you. We got lots to talk about here today. CRP in the house. I bought some Reese's Christmas trees at, hey, you know what? That's the Reese's Christmas trees are like manna from heaven. I don't know if there is heaven, but if there is, it's filled with Reese's peanut butter trees. Peanut butter in general, just oceans of it. You know what? No, I mean, just oceans of it, man. Chocolate and peanut butter together. Are you kidding me? What better combination is there? Lennon and McCartney, right? You know, butter and toast, peanut butter and jelly. I'm just saying. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Edge and Christian. Great combinations. Ricky and Robert. I'll keep them pro wrestling themed. What's up, Gavin? Good to see you, my friend. Oh, Bob Ross. I remind you of Bob Ross, really? Interesting. I've been called worse. I've been called worse by a lot more rude person than yourself. All right, kids, let's get into this. Let's get cranking here today. WWE Crown Jewel. I know what you're thinking. Tom talks about WWE, but he doesn't talk about it incessantly. I don't follow the WWE product. I keep up to date on the news and whatnot. I'm fully transparent. I'm not here to praise WWE nor to bury it. Okay, I'm just here to talk about it as the needs arise, and the need has arose today. WWE Crown Jewel is taking place tomorrow from the lovely land of Saudi Arabia. All right. Let's just do this. I got you, Chad. I got you now. My bad. All right, let's just do this. Are we ready? Here's your card. You got 8 matches right now, but you know how that goes. You have Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough, who I also like to refer to as Jordan Devlin, because it's Jordan Devlin. What are we doing? Against Sami Zayn. Singles match. You also have Io Sky with Bayley and Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship. John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Singles match. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest. Rey Mysterio defending the WWE United States Championship against Logan Paul. You have Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley defending the Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roman by God Reigns with Mr. Paul Heyman defending the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against LA Knight. Yes. There is your card, kids. Who are we thinking? Who are your picks? Let's talk about the 2 title matches. Who would you like to see go over in both title matches? I'm curious. I'm interested in what you think. You thinking, do both champions retain tomorrow? Because I am of the opinion that both champions will retain their titles tomorrow. What do you guys think? James says, who will be the 4th person on the bloodline? I have no idea. We shall see. Ray says Bianca should win, but won't Cena has to win, or what's the point if he keeps losing? Roman keeping belt until 2029. Yes. Roman will grow old with that title. I submit that Roman with the title has grown old already. Hey, look. I am not here to bash Roman Reigns. The guy is a beast. He's getting it done. He's been getting it done for years. I never understood when the guy received so much hate as he got before this whole big dog thing. But he's never going to lose that belt. And if he doesn't lose it to Cody, he's losing it to the wrong person, in my opinion. There are other ways you can spin it. There are other ways you can play it, I suppose. But in my opinion, if anyone but Cody Rhodes wins that title from Roman Reigns, I don't know what we're doing. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't get it. But that's me. And I think it happens at Mania next year. That's what I think. So, what do you guys think? Smash that like button if you're enjoying the show so far, kids. I very much appreciate you. Or throw some emojis in the chat as well. That would be nice. You can throw the horns. I use the horns constantly. It's my go-to. It's my go-to. Nate Dogg in the house. Everyone tell Nate hello. CRP says, I tend to agree with you on that front. Rebecca says, both champs retain. Eric Jackson in the house, kids. Augie Andy says, LA Knight versus Roman Reigns. That will be a good match. LA Knight to win. I don't see him winning. Could be wrong. I think if that guy ends up with a world title in that company, he's going to take it from Seth. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll have 2 surprise endings tomorrow to both world title matches, and then you'll see 2 new champions crowned. I really don't have any idea. However, I would be surprised. Look, I'm okay with it. I like Knight a lot. Always have. Hate the name. But it is what it is, you know. But yeah, we'll see. Becky says Roman will lose to Cody at WrestleMania. I agree. CRP says still going with the big prediction of him losing to Cody night 1, then having a match with Rock night 2. Yeah. Yeah. It's a bold prediction. Shane says WWE Crown Jewels is as exciting as Ric Flair signing with AEW. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Hello, Jen. How are you? Thanks for watching us today. Hey, I'm doing what I can. I'm not a massive source of information, but I like to hit on the main topics for every week's main event. My kid's doing well, Ray. Thank you very much, my friend. James said, oh, where'd you go, James? James says, Logan Paul will beat Rey Mysterio. I happen to think he will as well. Robbie says, all I can say is we have seen every combination of outcomes of WWE. They need some kind of jaw-dropping moments, make WWE more watchable to those that stopped watching. Perhaps. Augie, they've been talking about Randy Orton been coming back for months now. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Nate says, Hornswoggle wins Royal Rumble. How do we get to the Royal Rumble already? Cashed in to win, gives up belt due to kayfabe injury, then a tournament where the final is Cody losing in a squash to Roman in 15 seconds. It's that company. It's that company. You never can tell. Who's watching Crown Jewel tomorrow, by the way? Who's watching? Anybody going to check it out, watch it live at work? Live at work, live at home, whatever. Live as it happens. He's here, folks. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I've said forever, I'm not a big fan of that company. However, I don't wish them ill. We need every pro wrestling company that's doing it right. Right? I always like to clarify that. You guys know that. I like to see them all succeed and do well. Chris says, Day and I are doing a watch-along show. Nice. That's a long show, brother. The longest thing I've done a watch-along on was, watch-along for the 6M with movies. Jeff says, WWE views Crown Jewel as big as WrestleMania. Agreed. So Roman can and will lose. Uh-oh. Don't look now, kids. Jeffrey's got this figured out. WWE views Crown Jewel as big as WrestleMania. So Roman can and will lose the belt tomorrow. Uh-oh. We'll see. We'll see. Chris says it's a pretty solid card. Should be a fun show. Jeff says watching the replay because my wife wants to see it too after her work. Well, there you go. We'll see what's going to happen, kids. Hope everybody is safe. Everybody leaves on their own power. No injuries tomorrow. And I hope it's a good show. And hopefully everything goes well. Travel and everything. Whole 9 yards. We'll see. Hopefully everything's good. And we'll see what the quality of the show is after it's over. All right, we've already brought this up one time. I want to get into it a little bit here today. The Nature Boy is in AEW, and it's come out today, actually. He signed a multi-year agreement. Let me tell you something. Ric Flair's got a job in this business for life. He has had for life for a long time. I don't know what he can bring to the table now. I don't know what he can do. I certainly do not want to see him in the ring again. That's me. No disrespect to Rick at all. A lot of the stuff with Rick has not aged well. And this is not a matter of he said, she said anymore. This is a matter of everybody saw. So, I mean, there's ways that a grown man needs to behave, and a lot of Rick's past suggests that he doesn't know how to do those things. And I'm not here to vilify. I'm not here to crush. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus, as it were. However, again, there's ways to go about conducting business. And right? So, yeah. He wants to be along. He said it on the air about, being along for the ride. And, I don't know how to feel about it, because I grew up with Flair. Flair was my guy for years. And then the plane ride not plane ride from hell, but the plane ride happens, and then things start coming out, and all these stories about how he just takes out a certain body part anytime he wants to. And none of that's funny. It was portrayed as cute. It was portrayed as, oh, that's Rick. It's not funny. Anyone giggling at that, shame on you. It's not funny. You know what I mean? It was weird then. It's not weird in pro wrestling locker room in the 80s, but it's weird now. It should have been weird then too. Okay. But anyway, I digress, as Taz says. We'll see what he can bring to the table. Again, I don't want to see him in the ring. Could I see him in more of as an advisor role to Sting? Sure. Do I think he'll turn on Sting? Because the other night they were staying in the ring, I think was the longest he's stood in the ring and never turned on him. Yeah. Yeah. Going back to Crown Jewel, Chris says, not the craziest prediction. He could just pick the title back up before Mania. Oh, you mean drop it? I agree and I disagree. I think it has more punch if Cody is the man that beats him when no one else could. I think it carries more weight. You know what I mean? Could Knight beat him tomorrow and then lose it back to him next week? Sure. But that doesn't help Knight, and it doesn't really hurt Roman. Roman needs to be hurt as a character. He needs to be taken down a notch. Not destroyed, right? But the guy to do that is Cody, in my opinion. And anyone else taking him down, I don't know why we're doing it. You know what I mean? And again, I think it holds more weight. Personally, I think it holds more weight if he is the guy that takes him down, and also if Roman had never lost the title. I just think it means the win means more. Right? Chris also says the weirdest part of it was the official energy drink of AEW stuff. Yeah, supposedly they're paying most of his salary. I know, right? Ray says, I wouldn't like to see Flair wrestle. I saw his last match, and it was I did not watch that last match. Actually, did I? I think I saw bits and pieces of it. Daniel, I appreciate your comment, but I'm not going to put language up on my screen. He says, Flair shows the hypocrisy of AEW fans, and Khan gave Vince crap over his scandals, but Flair exposes himself to someone and rubs up on her, and that's A-OK. Gotta love those double standards. You can't speak for every AEW fan, okay? I get what you're saying. I can't disagree with anything you just said. I can't and I won't. I would just say don't speak for every fan, because a lot of fans are not happy about this. And, younger fans who don't understand what Flair has accomplished in his career, they only know him as the old dude with the gold chains who appears in rap videos. And their dad will show them highlights from a match on YouTube or something. That's the Flair they know. They didn't grow up with the guy. They didn't see his impact in the business. They didn't see in an era of, when you had to go. You had to go. If you couldn't go, you would never get the time of day in a professional wrestling ring, right? Flair hung with the best of them and became the best. And the thing that made Flair the best of all time, in my opinion, was that Flair could go with anyone of any size, of any speed, of any experience level, and give you the best match of the night. That is a professional. And there's other guys who have been called great wrestlers and stuff, and I'm not going to get into it. And some of them can do that too. Some of them cannot. And it's obvious. You put that person in the ring with a guy less skilled, or put him in the ring with a guy whose style they don't mesh very well. Guess what? Match isn't good. It's not to suggest that it couldn't have been good or that the guys involved suck or whatever, but it is suggesting that, hey, you need to be able to have the talent to carry the other guy in the ring, no matter what the match is. Play to that guy's strengths, elevating yourself while elevating him at the same time. A good wrestling match gets both people over, not just one. Chris says it's weird AEW backpedaled on not signing him after that Vince documentary and a little while later signed him anyways. I agree. Becca says he's bringing his energy drinks flared, maybe his marijuana as well. Marijuana is legal in a lot of states now. I'm not going to soapbox. I'm straight edge. You guys know I don't smoke or drink or anything like that. Never have. But, if it's legal and again, you're not hurting anybody, I don't understand what the problem is with that. I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's not for me, but doesn't mean I'm going to vilify it by any means. Shane says, do you think Tony Khan is giving Flair a job because he needs the money? Dude, I've been hearing that for 25 years. That Flair's only getting jobs because he needs the money. I can't speak to what Khan does and doesn't do and why he's really doing what he's doing or not doing. I would tell you I don't think so. In my opinion, he's not. I think he's generally doing what he feels is best for his company, for his business. I think. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Great friend of the show, Marie from Peaches and Power Bombs. Go follow that show. By the way, visit boinkstudios.com. There's a link directly to their podcast on our page. So go check it out. I appreciate it. There's also links to hers and Sarah's social media as well. So go check it out. He says, what if Flair becomes the manager of the Guns? I don't think they need him. And plus, I don't think Flair goes with Bullet Club Gold. Personally. Gavin says, sure, Ric Flair's name carries something, but AEW doesn't need it. Agreed. And I don't want to see him coming in and stealing light from Sting's farewell run. Oh, I agree with that too. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here, man. Going to be interesting to see what happens. Jeffrey says maybe Flair will form a new Four Horsemen and mentor some of the younger talent. We've been hearing this for a long time, haven't we? I won't dismiss it and say that you're wrong. I just, we'll see. We had the Tully thing. We've had Arn there. I mean, we got 3 of the 4 horsemen there right now. You know what I mean? If Barry were to show up, boom, right? Chad says it's time to push Wardlow. Well, evidently they are. They had him getting MJF's face. So, yeah, we'll see. Daniel says he's stated he wants one more match even after he's retired many times over. He wants to go out like the ending of The Wrestler. Khan's dumb enough to let it. Boy, you do not like AEW, right? You're not an AEW guy. I mean, it's okay. So, yeah, to each his own. Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. Thanks for hanging out, man. Hadn't seen you in a while. Are you going to go, what is it, Bash in Berlin or something? That'll be that big show. You going to go to that? We looked for you last week. We threw it up on the screen and talked about it just a bit, but you didn't come by the show. So, yeah. Again, big fan of Flair through the years. Not a fan of Flair personally. I can't be. It's just, it's too much weird stuff there. You know what I mean? Just too much weird stuff. Couple more things here today. We're at the bottom of the hour, kids. Please and thank you. Visit boinkstudios.com. BOINK, boinkstudios.com. You'll find show links to the main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast. And if you're a Ted Lasso fan, Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Season 2 kicks off next Saturday, a week from tomorrow. We kick off Season 2. our review of season 2 of Ted Lasso. You're going to love it. We have a lot of fun with this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. If you're a fan of Ted Lasso, the Two Nations podcast is for you, I promise you. If you're a fan of geek culture / pop culture topics, movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more, the 6M podcast is for you. Visit us on boinkstudios.com. There you go. There's your ad. Usually I'll add ads to the pods. I don't have to do that with this show because I talk it all the time. All right. The devil of AEW. Chris, I'm not going to give everybody your guess. Chris in the Boink Studios Discord had a great idea as to who the devil may be. Put his name in here for me. Let everybody read it. It's actually a really, really good idea. Reese says, thank you, need to do a show. Anytime. Anytime. I say anytime, then I turn you down all the time. What's up with that, right? Chris says, I honestly don't care about Flair being there at all. Various companies have brought him back in to elevate talent as a manager, and it generally doesn't work. I can't disagree with that at all. All right, Chris. David Finlay. What a great idea for the devil of AEW. David Finlay, if you don't know, kids, is the leader of the Bullet Club. Not Bullet Club Gold, but the Bullet Club. It would make a lot of sense. However, here's my however, and this is not me being devil's advocate. David Finlay is a monster heel. And in AEW, Jay White is a monster heel. Why would he have attacked Jay White and took him out? I don't have a good reason. And you know, if you can make the case, well, David kicked him out of Bullet Club, so they should have any more heat. Jay should have heat with him for getting kicked out. But you could always come back and say, well, you know, Finlay's not happy with Jay White running a Bullet Club in AEW when he feels it's not the true Bullet Club. That's a true statement. However, again, if you have a heel attack another heel, why does anybody care? And does Jay White, does he baby out if Finlay takes the mask off and beats him down, or is it the other way around? I'm not saying it you'll be wrong. I love the idea. I don't know if the execution would work. Daniel says, you just mentioned not assuming they proceeded to assume. Easy. I had hopes for AEW being a viable alternative that would make WWE up their game, but they turned out, all right, brother, you do not like AEW. It's fine. I wasn't assuming anything. All right? Let's everybody take a breath. It's okay that you don't like it. You don't have to like it. I don't care much for WWE, to be honest with you. It's to each his own, man. Whatever you're into is fine with me. What did I proceed to assume, by the way? He also says it's Cole in the Mask. A lot of people think that. It's actually, I agree with that. I think it'll be Cole in the Mask. I think this whole thing is going to have been about Cole. And what kills me is the commentary in AEW has not really put over the fact that I've heard. Because I think it was Shivani a couple weeks ago said, you know, God, he's obsessed. Jay's obsessed with MJF. But I'm waiting for someone to say, Jay White and Bullet Club think that MJF had him and his boys attack him. Of course he's obsessed. Of course he's unhappy. Of course he wants revenge. Of course he stole the title. This is what happens when you cross Jay White, a Bullet Club leader. This is what happens. When you cross him, you will pay the price. That's why they're wreaking havoc on MJF. I don't know that I've heard it vocalized like that on TV yet. Because that explains everything. That explains everything why he's wreaking such havoc in the life of MJF. Because he believes MJF jumped him and his crew. He didn't. Because it's probably going to have been Cole. Right? We'll see. We'll see how and if they can tie it together. Chris says they do heel versus heel all the time. And you're right. You're right. You're right. They do. And you know, for a while in that company, I mean, remember when Cody was saying things like heel versus face is antiquated. And I'm like, you know, you're Dusty's son. Have we forgotten? What are we talking about? Antiquated? What? Pro wrestling in my opinion, pro wrestling most time doesn't work unless it's heel versus baby. It can work, but can you imagine running a promotion on heels versus heels or a promotion on faces versus faces every single match? I mean, they always did the Code of Honor and Ring of Honor, but no one ever believed that, it didn't ruin the aesthetic. The aesthetic was you shook a guy's hand and stabbed him in the back. Shook a guy's hand and put your boot through his teeth. You know what I mean? Hit him with a chair, spikes, barbed wire, whatever to win a match. Code of Honor was just a formality, right? Can you imagine that though? What's up, Tim? Good to see you. Good to see you. Keith says, still thinking might be Jungle Boy behind the mask. I love that. I've heard some people say, because they've been questioning, what if it's CM Punk? If it's CM Punk, I'm going to tell you something. This is the best swerve in the history of pro wrestling. Well, maybe not ever. But it's close. Got to be top 10, right? Got to be. Are you kidding? If this were to be Punk, it won't be probably. But if it was, holy Lord, can you imagine? I think Jungle Boy is a great choice. Jungle Boy is a great choice. My question is, when the mask comes off, what do you do with that guy afterward? Because if you don't give him anything to do, see where I'm going with that? If you don't give him anything to do, what's the point of it? This whole gimmick should be elevating the guy that's wearing it. And if it's not elevating him, I don't know why we're doing it. Shane says, I think it's Sammy Guevara. Remember, he got kicked out of the inner circle because of MJF. I mean, yeah, I guess that works. He hasn't been on TV the past couple of shows either. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know if that's working for me because you got Guevara with Callis and his guys, and then MJF turned him down. I guess that would make sense, but still, where does that leave Cole in all this? You know what I mean? Chris says it's actually Tobias Forge from Ghost. I like that. Also says Cole is going to be out for 6 to 8 months. I have little faith on them carrying the storyline that long, so I don't think it's Cole, even if it was the original plan. I can't say I disagree with that. I do think it'll be him, but I see completely what you're saying. That's right. Guevara has concussion issues right now. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Is anyone going to check out NJPW Power Struggle tomorrow? I'm guessing the timing of this, as most Japanese shows, it's going to happen tonight, like at 2 or 3 in the morning. So if you have the app, when you wake up, it'll be on your app. You know what I mean? Listen to this. Listen to this, because this is it's in Osaka. Check out this card. Boltin Oleg, and if you don't know who Boltin Oleg is, holy Lord, that dude's going to be somebody. And Ryusuke Taguchi and the DKC versus Strong Machine J, Mozuki Jr. and Yoshiki Kato. I think those are all Japan guys, because I don't recognize those names. In a 6-man tag team match, Youngblood, Oscar Lube, and Yuta Nakashima. They give them a tag team name? They're Young Boys? Really? All right. Versus United Empire, Callum Newman and Jeff Cobb. Think we know who's going to go over there. Musashi Komatsu, and that's Yo and Musai, right? Versus Ichiban Sweet Boys, Robbie Eagles, and Kosei Fujita. Versus El Desperado. That's El Desperado and Master Wato. They're starting to get creative with these names here. Versus Bullet Club War Dogs, Drilla Maloney, and Clark Connors. 4-way tag team match. That should be fun. Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. And Tama Tonga versus Los Ingobernables de Japón. Titan, Bushi, and Shingo Takagi. 6-man tag team match. That's going to be fun. Just 5 Guys, Sonata, who is way down the card here for whatever reason. Your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. And Yuya Uemura versus Los Ingobernables de Japón's Tetsuya Naito and Yota Tsuji. I love me some Yota Tsuji and Naito. This should be a good match as well. David Finlay versus Tonga Loa. That should be nice. They always have solid matches. Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroshi Tanahashi defending the never open weight 6-man tag team championships against TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Mikey Nichols, and Shane Haste. Believe it or not, I believe they may drop the titles tomorrow. I could be wrong, but I think maybe. TJP and Francesco Akira versus House of Torture. Sho and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This is the Super Junior Tag League Finals. I think this will be United Empire's match to win. Hiromu Takahashi versus Taiji Ishimori. Singles match for IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. I don't believe Taiji is getting this belt back, but that's me. And then in your main event, Will Ospreay versus Shota Umino for the IWGP United Kingdom Heavyweight Championship. I believe that Ospreay's doing the job tomorrow. You can take that, or you can leave it. But that's what I think. I think he's doing the job tomorrow. So, who's going to check out the show tomorrow? Dan says Cole's not going to be out 6 to 8 months. He got a high ankle sprain at most. They're exaggerating the injury to try to throw people off. Do you know that? Where's your source? If he were legit that hurt, he's not on TV. He's not there. They're showing video clips. All that stuff that they did with Roddy was all probably filmed in one day, is what I'm guessing. Where's your source, Daniel? Christopher says, pretty good Impact card tonight with Ospreay versus Eddie Edwards in the main event. Oh. Remember we were talking about earlier, like the best wrestlers can work any style, any guy on any night and give you a great main event match? That's Ospreay. There's a reason why Ospreay, a lot of people believe they feel he's the best in the world right now. Because he's that good. And look, people can complain about the offense. They can complain about today's wrestling versus older wrestling. I get it. I'm a certain age. I get what people are complaining about. But you can't argue what the guy can do in the ring. It's fantastic. And, comparing it now to that infamous match that him and Ricochet had in Japan years ago, and people called it acrobatics. I did, and said it was nothing but choreographed nonsense. I didn't disagree with a lot of that. Look at where those guys have come to this point. You know what I mean? Ospreay is one of the best in the world, in my opinion. Tim says Clark Connor's been a great addition to Bullet Club. Man, the idea to take Bullet Club and make them young them up and put the War Dogs, dude, what a great idea that was. What a great idea that was. Really, really good. It's breathed new life into that club, into that organization for sure. I've got my niece and nephew this weekend and doing something tomorrow as well, so I may have to catch the Power Struggle show much later in the game, but I definitely will check it out for sure. Speaking of which, your opinion on Impact going back to TNA as their title. Yeah, didn't we talk about that last week? Yeah. I think we did, didn't we? We'll see. Did we talk about it last week? Why can't I remember now? I think we did. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Is it going to change the company? Is it going to change how they book? Is it going to change who they sign? Probably not. They're going to bring the 6-sided ring back because it's wholly dangerous, right? We'll see. I wish them luck. I hope they continue rolling along. You got to give them those guys deserve a medal for being around this long and for staying the course. You know what I mean? Staying the course. Daniel said, let's see. Sitting in the middle of the ring with his foot overly wrapped. Plus, they've been using him in those ridiculous segments like making PB&J with Strong. It's a huge work. Where is your source, though? Look, you said he wasn't going to be out 6 to 8 months. Do you know that, or that's just what you think? If it's just what you think, that's cool. Because I think you might be right. I think maybe the whole thing's a work. I said it the day he jumped off the stage. I said, I wonder if this is a work and they're just... But the booking in the meantime doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're going to stick with the idea of he had surgery or whatnot, I don't know. But supposedly he had surgery. Now, if all that's a work, it is. If you end up being right, that's fine. Do you have a source? Do you know what you're saying? Or do you think this is what it is? I'm asking. It's just a simple question. If you have a source and you know this is true, I'd love to know about it. But if you think this is the case, I think a lot of things that end up being right and wrong, both. It's the nature of the beast here, man. This is what we do here. You know what I mean? Chris says, I highly doubt Cole was bluffing on the surgery he described for his ankle. Could be wrong, but haven't seen anything to make me feel that it isn't legit. I agree with that. I see both sides of the conversation. I do. It's just, it's a weird hill to die on when you say that this isn't real, this is a work. Period. End of story. Don't want to talk about it. I'm done. Shut the door, slam the door, turn the lights off. It's weird to me. If that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not doing that. Like, you know what I mean? That's just me, though. I mean, I've seen plenty of things where I kind of know, but I always preface it with, here's what I think, or here's my belief. Here's what I believe is happening. Here's what I think is happening. That comes from years of being a writer for these wrestling websites, where I couldn't just spit out nonsense like, well, this is it, period. Because guess what happens? If you get proven wrong, not you, but like as a writer, if you get proven wrong, people don't forget that stuff. You lose credibility to some degree. You know what I mean? So that's where my frame of mind is when it comes to this wrestling stuff, man. I never wrote anything that I try to pass off as fact, because you know what my editor would say? Where's your source? So Shane says, I've heard a lot of podcasters say the 6-sided ring is dangerous. A lot of wrestlers said it too. What makes it dangerous? The ropes don't have any give, for one thing, which, it's kind of hard to explain. If the ropes have too much give, that's dangerous. If they don't have enough give, and like the corners, you know what I mean? There's no give there. I mean, and plus knowing where to land, knowing where to climb, knowing how to move around, all those things that are instinctive in a 4-sided ring, you know what I mean? With the exception of the New Japan ring that AEW uses, because the turnbuckles are set up differently. It's like a boxing ring, right? That's a different setup. Guys who've never worked in those rings have to get acclimated to them and have to be very careful, or they'll fall and kill themselves, right? But I suspect that that's what a lot of it is. It's the safety. And when it comes to the safety of the talent, they should use the ring that they're the safest in. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm going to watch the show tomorrow. Anxious to see what happens. We'll check it out. All right, kids. Before we take it home today, let's talk a little bit about Full Gear. There's a little bit of time left before we're getting there. It's November 18th. Can you believe we're in the month of November? Wow. Thanksgiving is coming up, baby. Full Gear, Inglewood, California, November 18th. So far, we've got 6 matches on the card. You can be sure it's probably going to grow from here. MJF and, we don't know, versus The Guns, tag team match, the RH World Tag Team Championships. I personally would like to see the Guns take these belts. I don't know that it's going to happen, but I would personally like to see it. We'll see. Who's his partner going to be, by the way, kids? Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship. I think this is, in my opinion, this is why Shida beat Saraya. So they could put the belt on Tony and then feud Tony and Saraya against each other, which seems like a long way around to get back to a match they easily could have had anyway, right? I mean, whatever, man. But that's what I think is going to happen. We'll see. If so, they're bouncing that women's title around. It'll be 3 times in less than how many months now? 3 months, whatever it is. Whee. Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne in a 6-man tag team match. Of course, the faces need the win. Will they get the win? I don't know. Copeland Copeland could use a win. He hasn't won a match yet. Well, he won against Luchasaurus, right? But yeah. God, this could go either way. Because like if you beat Christian and his guys, you take away some of his steam. Not all of it. But they're on such a roll, and he's such a hated heel. That's the problem, man, is like, it's okay to lose matches. There's this idea that guys can't lose. I'm not saying they can't lose. But when they're on that high, it's tough to lose a match right then. You know what I mean? Now, if it had peaked at this point, which I don't personally think it's peaked, but if it had, I could see a loss happening. And maybe Christian, the guy getting pinned. But I think they might be saving that pinning Christian deal for Copeland and Christian one-on-one. But we'll see. Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley for the AEW International Championship. You could probably be a safe bet that both guys are going to bleed like crazy. We'll see. We'll see. I think Orange retains. Gonna be an interesting match. Moxley wasn't supposed to lose the belt to begin with, so they may take it off Orange. We'll see. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland in a singles match. I don't think that Page needs to go over here, in my opinion. I think Swerve needs to win this match, dude. And then, of course, MJF versus Jay White. Singles match. AEW World Heavyweight Championship. We shall see. There is your card for Full Gear. And there's going to be more matches added to it. We'll talk more about it as it gets closer. So yeah, everybody just hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. But I wanted to at least throw it out there today to have a little bit of talk about, since we had already talked a bit about some AEW programming here, and see how those things are leading in. The events of AEW TV are leading in to that event. By the way, we left a match off of the Power Struggle card tomorrow. Jon Moxley versus Great O'Khan. Totally left it off. That's going to be a fun match. Biggest match of O'Khan's career, more than likely. Well, one of the biggest matches, I would suspect, for him. It's going to be fun. Marcia Sias? Yes? I agree. Swerve needs to win. He is, Swerve needs to keep moving up. What's up, Orlando? How you doing, my friend? Vic says Moxley has to win, especially because of the injury to Bryan Danielson. Oh, Mox is going over. Oh, you're talking about it, Full Gear? Yeah. Maybe. Could be. Tim says Strickland and Jon Moxley win their match at Full Gear. I'll be right. Chad says, I will give Christian his props. He is good heel. Gets pretty evil with some of the things he says. Oh, yeah. Dude. Yeah. Lot of crazy heat. Marie says, I think it will be Samoa Joe teaming with MJF. Yeah, I agree. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. Cole wanted to team with him. Isn't that funny? Yeah, you know what's great about Nick Wayne right now? To Marie's point, you know what's great about Nick Wayne? Everybody's going to pin Nick Wayne, and they should. Everybody needs to pin Nick Wayne. You, me, all of us. We could all pin him together. He needs to lose a bunch of matches. This is not about, well, if Nick Wayne can't get bit, yes, he can. And he needs to, and he should. This should be a learning curve. Not experience in the ring. I'm talking about character-wise. This should be a learning curve for this character. This should be, I tried to take the easy way out. It didn't work. Because he'll eventually leave Christian. Okay? And when he does and he turns face, he's going to get the crap kicked out of him. He's going to get pinned a whole bunch. And these losses need to continue happening. I wouldn't put this kid on any kind of winning streak, at least for a year. Honestly. I'd have him there a full calendar year before I had him win anything substantial. I'm serious. Because you can just have him around and have him doing things and learning. The guy, if he's doing it right, is soaking up not just stuff in the ring, but knowledge, asking questions, getting questions answered, right? Getting more involved in the production of his own matches. My voice is cracking. Excuse me. This is what I'm talking about. I just don't think he should be winning anything anytime soon. Kids, we got 10 minutes to the top of the hour. We are going to open this floor wide up and watch the whole Mind You Don't Fall In. Easy. Orlando says, how soon do you think we will see Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage? I say Revolution. Is it Revolution like in March? I think they can hold it out that long. I really do. They got World's End coming up. They can maybe do it then, but I think it'd be too quick. I think it'd be too quick. My opinion. Maria, I'm sorry, says Nick Wayne is the AEW Dominic Mysterio, except he's much better. Much better in the ring. But don't sleep on Dominic. Kid's come a long way. Shane says, I watched an old Western show called Tales of Wells Fargo. They had a murder in the town. It was a guy who ran the printing press. His name was Tom. Let me tell you something about Tom Clark. There's a lot of us around, man. Living, dead, not born yet, I'm sure, a lot of us. There's a Tom Clark who's a stand-up comedian. Tom Clark who was a poet. The Tom Clark that did the gnomes. Tom Clark was a writer. Tom Clark was a politician. Tom Clark was a general. There's a bunch of us, man. But there's only one that looks like this and hosts a podcast right here with that logo, and that's me. There you go. That's why I encourage people to call me, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." It helps differentiate me from the pack. Robbie said guys like Rick Rude and Rick Martel and Fandango were billed as pretty boy characters. Other than those billed as pretty boy characters, which three guys, dead or alive, do you think just had the looks of a wrestler and didn't have any wrestling skills? Ooh. Didn't have any skills or couldn't put it together. Maybe that's the better answer. Couldn't put it together. You know what I mean? You would hope that everybody stepping foot in the ring on a TV somewhere has been trained. But it's not for everybody, right? Guys that had $1 million looks but just couldn't put it together. That's an excellent question. And we know those three guys that you mentioned could work. Ooh, what do you guys think? Let's throw it out to the audience. What do you guys think? What three wrestlers, if you could come up with 1, 2, 3, whatever the number is, guys who had the look and who were nice to look at, easy on the eyes, but couldn't put it together between the ropes? I'd be curious what you guys think about that. Ray says Rob Bass or Biz Marquee, and part 2, Lords of the Underground or Nice and Smooth. I'll say, ooh, it's tough. I'll say Rob Bass and Nice and Smooth. And if Adam Cole came to your house and invited you and your family to go glow-in-the-dark bowling, I haven't done that in years, and provided hot pumpkin coffee and said you could bring a friend, could I join? Yes. And later wanted to get dinner and half a grilled salmon and a delicious side salad, could I join as well? Yes, Ray, all day, of course. I'm getting a phone call, but I was not taking it. I was not taking it. All righty. What else? Maria says, who do you think should face Sting in his final match? I think Darby should. He speaks so highly of Darby. And honestly, by doing this, you're passing, that torch passing nonsense everybody talks about. You're legitimately passing the torch to Darby Allin by letting him beat you in your final match. Because I said this on the show recently, maybe last week, I don't remember. But to me, a retirement match is only good if you're handing the victory to someone that can do something with it. This is why it shouldn't be Adam Copeland pinning Sting. This is why it shouldn't be, Kenny Omega pinning Sting. It shouldn't be, you see what I'm saying? They don't need that win. They don't need that feather in their cap. Darby could use that feather in his cap. I'm the guy that retired Sting. Not as a heel, right? But just to have that on his calling card. And plus, it sets him up for the future. We should always be about setting ourselves up for the future. What are we doing tomorrow? Don't just worry about today. What are we doing tomorrow? What's the plan for next year? That's one of the reasons WCW failed. They didn't have a plan for next year. There were stories of guys would get to the show that night and not know what they were doing until like 10 minutes before the show went live on TV. And Bischoff just said, well, just go on. Just go out there. I'm like, that's your plan? That's how you book? So yeah, it's there's got to be a plan. A Gato in New Japan been booking for a year out. That's how it was done back in the day. Because the idea is, we're in November. You look at November of next year and say, by November of next year, I want this to be my card. Now, rewind. How do we get from here to there? And then you start making your plans. You have your rough outline and you get yourself there. That way everything's set in stone. But not so set in stone that you can't, it's got to be breathing, right? And you got to be able to deviate from the plan because of injuries, because of illness, whatever. But you have ways around that. You have plan Bs. Kevin in Chicago, you have missed the whole show, my friend. Go back and watch the replay. Be sure you subscribe on all the major platforms for the audio version. Daniel says Wayne's just another overrated Andy Darling. I disagree with that. They shouldn't have been brought in. Disagree with that, or given such prominent pairing when there's loads of people just sitting in the back, not being utilized well or at all. Daniel, you are so negative. I don't think you said one positive thing since you got to my show today. Do you like anything? Or are you just here to troll my comments? I'm being serious. Tell me one thing you enjoy about pro wrestling, and don't make it snarky. Tell me one match. Let's all encourage Daniel here, kids. Give me one thing you enjoy about today's pro wrestling. It don't have to be AEW. Whatever you enjoy watching, give me something, because everything I've looked at your comments has been negative. By the way, I appreciate you watching. I feel like we can have an adult, civilized conversation without people going nuts on each other, because I don't want to do that. Life's too short, man. I disagree with your opinion of Nick Wayne. I do agree that he was brought in at too high of a level. My opinion, too high of a level. I agree with that. I do not agree, however, that he is overrated or that he shouldn't have been brought in. I disagree with both those points. Ooh, Chris, good answers. Alex Riley, David Otunga, Mason Ryan, excellent answers. David Otunga should have been that dude, the body on David Otunga. Can we just recognize the time and the effort and the dedication that guy put into his body? Are you kidding me? Jeffrey says Curtis Axel, Ted DiBiase Jr., Disco Inferno. Axel could work. I feel like both those guys could work. Disco, I don't have any use for Disco. In my opinion, he's not for me. But yeah, just couldn't put it together. Maybe that was the criteria I set, right? Couldn't put it together. Buff put it together for a while there, Ray. He did, but yeah, it just didn't. His ego got in the way for a lot. I do believe. Maria says Sean O'Hare from back in the day. Excellent pull. Mr. Kennedy. Boy, he never recovered from being fired from WWE, did he? He never recovered. Never recovered. He had an Impact run. Was never the same again. Never the same again. Teddy Hart, so much stuff going on with that guy, man. So much stuff going on with that guy. Was why he was never, no disrespect to Teddy Hart, but it was one of the reasons why he never made it past the point that he made it. Lex Luger, Ultimate Warrior for starter. Yeah. Luger much better in the ring than Warrior, but that's not hard to do, right? Great physique. Had the look. They put it together, though. I'll say they both put it together. They weren't the ideal pro wrestlers. I think they would both probably agree with that. But Luger was, clanging and banging with the Horsemen 8 days a week. Does it mean he came out of that company a polished professional? Just go back and listen to Barry talk about working him and getting stiffed through the entire match and it really hurting. Like, you know what I mean? Luger got better over time. I don't know that Warrior ever got that much better over time. Robbie says Mark Mero to some extent. Disco Inferno, Austin Theory. No, I disagree with you, Rob. I think Austin Theory is very good in the ring. I think Austin Theory, because of his gimmick, and he gets such hate from people because he's such a really, really good heel, okay? That people use that to cloud, not you, but like people use that to cloud their opinions of his skill in the ring. I think that's where a lot of that comes from. Tom Zink, the Colorado Kid, and Maven. Tom Zink was good. Remember that Z-Man gimmick he had in WCW? That was pretty bad. They gave him the Batman music, Danny Elfman Batman music, as his entrance theme, back when you could do that sort of thing and not get busted for it. Interesting. Look, everybody, Daniel's continuing to be negative. I'm sorry honest criticism hurts you so much and you're so sensitive that you see bluntness as negativity. I asked for one thing you enjoyed about pro wrestling. Can you give it to me or not? I mean, do you have anything there, Daniel, or do you not? I complimented you or said I appreciated you talking, appreciate you being here. we could have an open and honest adult conversation. And then you have to do that. Okay. You don't know bluntness, my friend. You don't know what bluntness is. Okay. I asked for something you enjoy about this business. You either have something or you don't. If you're only here to troll the comments, you should just go find someone else's show to do that too, right? Wouldn't that be the thing to do? Maybe just go do that. Okay. I'm sorry, honest criticism hurt you so much. It's not just what you think. You're trying to pass off what you think is reality. And that's not the case. My shirt's black. That's reality. That's reality. But if I tell you that some dude named John in Pakistan made this shirt, I'm guessing that's not reality. See what I'm saying? There's a difference. I'm telling you what I think, but I could be wrong. Whatever. I can be wrong and it doesn't hurt my feelings. And I'm okay with that. You evidently cannot be wrong. Isn't this fun? Evan Courageous. Great pull. Oh my God. Great pull. Yeah. Evan Courageous. Maven came out on fire and just fizzled out. 100% agree. Remember when he took Taker out of the Rumble that year? Holy Lord. Do you remember the look on his face and he did that? Kudos to Maven for selling that moment. It was very well done. Very well done. Billy Kidman. Remember how I think Russo had like a massive thing for Billy Kidman? He loved that guy. Pushed him to the moon in WCW, man. Pushed him to the moon. We've maintained a pretty good audience here today, kids, at the top of the hour. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys hanging out. With a couple more minutes, we're going to have to get out of here. I got to boogie out. I've got family to pick up this evening for the weekend. Chris says, that's cool. I met him in a convention years ago. He was a super nice dude, or at least when I met him. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about, Chris? Devin Storm, a.k.a. Crowbar. Yeah, he's still going, too. He's still working. Pretty sure. Let's see. You know what? This show's unlike my other two podcasts because in this show, there's a lot of pauses because I'm reading comments. So, like, I can't edit this show too much. I do the noise removal and I tighten up at the beginning and the end. And I may add an ad, but that's it. And then I publish. Because if I go through it too much, I'll be taking out all these long pauses. And I'm not going to do that. I don't have time on my Friday evening to do that. I like to get this show up on Friday by the time I leave the office here. Ah, my bad, Chris. All right. Let's see. How long were the Can-Am Connection together back in the 80s? So that was Martel and Zink, right? I forgot about that. Can-Am Connection. That was a nice little tag team name. Oh, yeah. Buff was brought in by HVW a couple of times. And it, you know, it's not when I was there, but I was told different things. And it was like the first time they'd brought him in, everything was fine. The second time, that ego that you hear about what that guy, you know, was playing in was becoming a thing, right? And it became kind of a problem that night at the show. So there you go. All right, kids, couple more. We're getting out of here. Maria says, where'd you go? Should Wardlow be the one to cost MJF the championship at Full Gear? It's interesting. Do you think he'll lose it at Full Gear? Do we assume he's losing it at Full Gear? I mean, you might be right. Could be. I'll say this. If he does, where do we go from there? Is he getting a title shot at whoever wins the belt? See what I'm saying? I mean, it makes sense. Wouldn't Wardlow's character want to just beat MJF for the title instead of costing him the title? Because you can make the case he beat him one time. Right? He's already beat him one time. So, because he beat him for the TNT Championship. So maybe he should just beat him here for the World Championship. I mean, not that he will, but that would be his character's, you know, his character's way of thinking, his mission. Hey, I beat you one time, I'll beat you again, that kind of thing. We'll see. Man, that question you put out there, Robbie, that thing got over. Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, Evan Courageous. You're talking about 3 count. Yeah. Didn't see this ICP. They were better in WCW than WWE. Oh, Insane Clown Posse. Ugh. Saying ICP's better wrestlers in one company or the other is like, Oof. They got their fans all around the world. They must have done something right. Good for them. I'm just personally not a fan. That's just me, though. Vic says if MJF loses at Full Gear, it'll probably be due to Samoa Joe costing the match. I'm okay with that, but like he just started back up with them again. Doesn't that feel weird? You might be right, but some of the booking going on in that company, man, there's moments when I'm like, right? Not ruining my life. But yeah. All right, kids. Well, guess what? I think that's going to do it for us here today. We're 7 minutes past the hour. Before we scoot, BoinkStudios.com. BOINK, BoinkStudios.com. Please and thank you. I'd very much appreciate it. On that website, you'll find links to all of the podcasts, all 3 podcasts. Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. You will find not only show links, but social media links. You also find links to all the co-hosts and the hosts that I've worked with over the years and continue to work with today. You'll find links to their shows as well and to their social media too. So there you go, kids. There you go. Everything you want to know about BoinkStudios.com, the shows I just mentioned, and a whole lot more. BoinkStudios.com. BOINK, BoinkStudios.com. Join us on Discord. The links are on the website. Everything's on the website. Trust me, you'll love it. We'll make it fun for you. We're getting out of here, kids. I appreciate your time. Everybody have a great weekend, all right? Again, we appreciate you. Thanks a lot for being here. Be sure you come back and join us again next week. We'll see you later. See you next time, kids. Have a great weekend.